This here game is an underrated Steam Deck gem. Notice these markings here? Signs of greatness. No easy feat finding these. Lucky for you, I've got the know-how to find these little treasures. I'll show you. Bit of a weirdo, that guy, but he knows his stuff. Let me take you through some of the indie gems he's uncovered over the years. And without further ado... Oh shit! Oh hi, Project Tomboy. This game has been in early access since the day I was born. And has gone through some ups and downs. But say what you will, this is the ultimate zombie survival simulator. Everything is here. Building, crafting, looting, learning, collecting. There's zombie hordes, running zombies if that's what you want. You can customize the zombie apocalypse exactly to your liking. There's also cool scenarios to play and die at. Because you will die. It's just a matter of when and how long you survive. And boy, there are many ways to die in this game. So many. The only thing I wish they'd have, and at one point they did, is NPCs. Almost for as long as I've had this game, they said they'll add them. $20 on a Steam store. Oh shit, maybe not exactly an indie game as it's published by Microsoft. Somewhere in the shuffle I've gotten lost in the rules and what is and isn't an indie game. Baldur's Gate 3, but I think this still counts. From the creators of Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater. A super fun, side-scrolling beat-em-up platformer mashup, where you battle your way through a theater prison. It's weird and funny, there's a level editor, and amazing co-op. Check this one out for sure. This can be yours for just $15. On number 3, Oxygen not included. What's in the name, right? This is our first management sim. We're talking mining, colony, and survival. Although, there's not really any combat in the game, so it's all done from a side perspective. Build up your colony, train your colonists, and help them survive. Set up oxygen creators, as oxygen slowly runs out, as the name suggests. There are multiple different starting scenarios, and you can make them as hard as you want. And as I mentioned, the game has no notable combat to speak of. It's all about the base building. But if you're looking for something similar with more aliens and combat, check out RimWorld, another colony survival simulator. What's really cool about this one is the AI storyteller that makes random events happen. There are 3 different storytellers. Cassandra Classic, she creates story events on a normal increasing curve. Phoebe Chillax, she gives a lot more time between problems and disasters. And lastly, that's my favorite, Randy Random. And as his name implies, anything can happen at any time. I love RimWorld, but since it's such a universally loved game, I figured I'd put Oxygen first. But you can't go wrong with either one. They're $25 and $28 respectively. Hey bruh, do you even game? If you like action movies from the 80s and 90s, you've got to play this game. It is amazing. Play as one of the bros in an overpowered paramilitary organization that takes out terrorists, monsters, and aliens. All based on the classics that we love. The goal of the game is to kill all bad guys, but also to free prisoners in the level. And the cool thing is that for every few prisoners that you free, you unlock a new bro, based on an 80s or 90s action movie. And let me tell you, there's a lot of bros to unlock. They all play very distinctive and have their own weapons and specials. The game plays as a side-scrolling shooter. Oh, and everything can be destroyed. I mean, everything. One last thing I can tell you is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is well represented in this game. $15 on the Steam store. Also, it's default digital, so there's no excuse not to pick it up. I love this game so much. From the most action-packed and over-the-top game that I've played in the last few years to something a little more subtle and disconcerting with Inside. Inside? Yes, Inside. Like Inside? No. I know a lot of people will probably be upset because I didn't pick Limbo, the first game from the same developer. But that game just didn't gel with me the same way as this one did. Inside is just so beautifully creepy and weird. We're talking puzzle platformer. As a little boy, you sneak and puzzle your way into a secret experimental facility. Why would you do that? That's the question. You'll have to figure out the story for yourself. But the ending is surprising, I'll tell you that. Or at least it was for me. Let me know in the comments if you saw the ending coming, but I sure didn't. 20 big ones on the Steam store. It's not a long game, you can probably finish this game in 5 or 6 hours, but it's worth it. On number 6, Iron Lung, developed and published by a one-man team. Is that even a team? Supposedly there's no I in team. Anyway, from the same guy that brought us the amazing retro shooter Dusk. This is a short horror game, where you descend in a tiny submarine in a sea of blood on an alien moon. I mean, if that's not a recipe for a claustrophobia-inducing experience, I don't know. I mean, this is what jumps to mind for me at the word submarine. When you descend in your little submarine, all you have is your gauges and whatever it is that you hear outside of your submarine. Only separated by what is essentially a tin can. I didn't have any cans, so this will have to do. Also, it's amazingly priced at $6, although you can probably finish it in 1 or 2 hours.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm also gonna need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday. Too.
However bad your first day at work might have been, you can almost guarantee that it's nothing compared to Brian Pasternak's first day on the job at Sintra Corp in Yuppie Psycho. Join Brian Pasternak in his first assignment and try to make sure he survives it. The game is probably not what you're expecting. It plays as a top-down isometrical adventure game. Creep, sneak, run and puzzle your way through Sintracorp. Believe me when I say that this game gets weird. And some of the puzzles and bosses can be quite eccentric. Cults, weird baby monsters, it goes off the rails. Also, insider tip, this game has a few not very intuitive puzzles you might want to look up to avoid frustration. I know I did. Don't let that stop you. $17 for this beauty. Number 8, Sunless Skies. That's weird. Sequel to the beautifully grim and cruel Sunless Skies. This game, in my opinion, is one of those hidden gems that doesn't get talked enough about. Sailing and exploring this Lovecraftian world using your steam, train, airplane kind of thing is amazing. You just choose a goal and start off your campaign. Getting rich, that's usually the one I pick. Must be some not so secret reflection of real life. And then you just try to survive in the cutthroat world that is Sunless Skies. As a trader pirate or adventurer or maybe a soldier. As you make your way through the world, you uncover a grander plot. All the while encountering random events, stories, battles and enemies. The world building and storytelling is great. But I have to warn you, this game is pretty slow, especially in the first act. But just give it a chance and stick with it. It's worth it in the end. $25 for this one. Number 9, Wildermyth. I love this game and its ideas. On the surface, Wildermyth looks like a pretty standard turn-based strategy RPG.
Well, your action, I don't know. Fireball, they have to roll a 13 or higher.
You get your party, go around the map, clearing out enemies. But where this game gets really cool is in its storytelling. There's an overarching plot, but the personal and side stories is where the game shines. All characters have randomized personality traits and relationships with each other that influence how the randomized side story arcs evolve. Which means that even though you might have seen a certain event play out in a previous campaign, this time due to the influences of your character, things might play out a little different. Side stories are also influenced by your decisions. Just now I was in a battle that turned sideways and 2 of my characters got taken out. But instead of just dying, I had some choice. For example, I could have let them die heroically and let them take some enemies with them. But instead, I chose for both of them to get maimed. My party has now 4 legs between 3 people. There is much more to this game, but I don't want to spoil it all. Again, this is an absolute gem. The rating on Steam is overwhelmingly positive, and for only $25 it's all yours. And if you really want to see everything in this game, it'll take you 80 to 90 hours. That's pretty good bang for your buck. Number 10, Stacklands. Hang on. Let me explain. I know it's a card battler, but Stacklands calls itself a roguelite management sim. You start off with a playing board and a few cards. A villager, berry bush, rock wood and a coin. This is where you start with, but soon you'll have houses, villagers, graveyards, sheds, you name it. How do you manage that, you wonder? Good question. I still don't know, as I'm pretty bad at this game, but this is how you start. Drag your villager on the berry bush to gather some berries. Villagers need to eat after each turn, and if they don't eat, they die, and it's game over. Actions like picking berries takes time. This is your main enemy, time. As things get overwhelming, fast. After you've picked the berries, it's time to punch a rock. With the villager on the rock, which gives you flint. Use this to make a fire and also sell it. Flint is worth 2 coins. You can sell this to buy a booster pack and get 3 new cards. Now you'll get some random items and ideas. And this is how the game progresses. The fun in this game is experimenting with what cards make which items. How do you build a house, for example? Not everything is intuitive, but luckily the booster decks come with idea cards that show you how to build certain items. I actually play this game on my phone. They made a nice mobile version. It's a nice little game and impossible to put down. Sounds super boring, I know, but it really is a good game. Doubting me? It's $7 and has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Nope, that is not the latest Disney movie. If you are looking for a fun Disney-esque story-driven adventure game, look no further than Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. This is a 3D open-world action-adventure game with beautiful graphics. Think Ori, but in 3D. You're Kenna, a spirit guide, who helps spirits who are unable to move on to the next life, who's trying to find her way to the sacred mountain shrine. To do this, you have to work your way through areas that have been infested by malignant spirits that need help moving on. To help you in your quest, you collect Rot, which is a creepy name for adorable little creatures. Rot, also known as Pikmin in other cultures like Nintendo, but let's not get into that. Help you in battle, find items and can perform certain tasks for you, like lifting and carrying items. See where my Pikmin reference come from? Combat's nothing special and comes down to simple blocking, dodging and heavy and light attacks. You can also use your Rod to distract your enemies and stuff like that, which is fun. It's a beautiful AA game with a fun story and lovable characters. And it's definitely worth the $40 price of admission. That is Gunpoint in a nutshell, with the exception that you keep getting up. Gunpoint is a quirky little stealth-based puzzle platformer, in which you play a private eye or something like that, completing missions. The hook and puzzles of the game is that you can rewire any electronics you see. For example, connect the camera with a door so that the door opens up when you trigger the camera. The other hook, and something I've alluded to earlier, is your diving pants. Yeah, you can dive and jump incredible heights and distances without dying. And this is coincidentally also how you take out guards. You dive at them and then take them out with a well-aimed punch to the cranium. This is the core of Gunpoint, and it sounds pretty simple, but it gets complicated in a hurry. This is a lovely little game that I'd highly recommend. Check it out on Steam for $10. If you are frustrated by Starfield's lack of spaceflight, check out The Outer Wilds. This is pretty much the opposite. Think more in the vein of No Man's Sky, but with a completely handcrafted galaxy. This game is incredibly charismatic, from your cute little spacecraft to the characters and worlds that you're going to be exploring. I don't want to give too much away, because that would be a massive faux pas, as the mystery of the time loop that you're stuck in is pretty interesting. Just take it from me. If you're tired of No Man's Sky and Starfield, just try out The Outer Worlds. Also, I realized that this game is probably technically not an underrated gem, but it's my list and I really wanted to give this game another little shout out. Alright, that'll do it for today. I had fun making this list and playing through some of these games again, as it had been a long time since I picked some of these up. And I know there are massive swaths of games I haven't even touched on, so I'll probably do a volume 2 to 100. There's enough indie games out there. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, like and subscribe, and as always, see you in the next one.